Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strive Show. Today we are on episode 5 and we're talking about athletic performance. Welcome to the Strive Show. I'm Dr. Jake Grinaker, and together with the amazing doctors at Strive Chiropractic, our phenomenal team, and some extraordinary guests along the way, we will be in the pursuit of truth in all things health, life, and family. We believe you not only can handle the truth, you deserve it. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, welcome back. And today we are going to talk about something that we love, that we talk about a lot, and it actually comes up quite a bit because Dr. Brian and I are the chiropractors for Fargo Force. We get them tuned up and adjusted every week to keep them on their winning ways, and we've been with them ever since before actually they won the Clark Cup Championship. So we've been doing it for the last few years. So it's been fun to work with them. But when they were in here, it kind of came up on, why are we seeing these guys? What is it? And a big part of that is athletic performance.
Absolutely. Like it's a super important piece to keeping them, performing, actually keeping any athlete, not just them, but keeping any athlete, performing at their best that they can.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a big one. And that was kind of where we were going with it when Brian and I were talking about it is, yes, it's important for the force. Yes, it's important. Every NHL, NFL, MLB team, they all have chiropractors. Like, yes, it's important for them. But as we're seeing the demands of these youth athletes more, and they're wanting that performance edge younger and younger, we're seeing it far more important in young youth athletes.
Younger. Yeah, I mean, I think we first started kind of talking about it, that it was, looking at that older teenage, 17, 18, 19, but now with the way that some of these youth sports are trending, right, you're actually starting to see it being more important in, early teen years as well.
Yeah. So we want to kind of jump into a few things. Actually, we already have a printout here because we want to make sure we didn't miss some things as we were going through. But what is it about chiropractic care? How is it that can affect performance in general? And a big thing we look at just structurally, is that, chiropractic care does and has been shown to improve joint mobility and range of motion. And we do that and increase not only overall mobility of the athlete, flexibility, explosion, range of motion, a lot of stuff we look at in jumping, sprinting, functional movements, a lot of that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I think one thing some people don't always understand is that like all movement starts with the spine, right? And so to improve those other things you think about with sports, the running, the jumping, the sprinting, that kind of stuff, well, that all starts with the spine. And so it's super important when you're talking in terms of performance and movement, and that you make sure that spine is moving 100%. As best as it can.
And especially when you see a real lack of mobility or flexibility in an athlete, a lot of times it's a spinal thing it's compounding because you have muscle guarding and spasm that's protecting that. And they just play it off as like, oh, I'm not very flexible. Like, no. It could be a mobility thing. And like you said, I love that it starts with the spine.
Yeah. And I think, the other thing, like we want, like in terms of performance, like it's important in athletics to make sure that your hips are moving, right? And our mid-back is moving. And if there's restrictions there, well, then obviously you're not going to, whether it's, running or whether it's, swinging a golf club or swinging a bat. Like if you don't have that mobility in your thoracic spine and hips, well, guess what? Your performance is going to go down.
Boom. Love that. Another thing that Ken talks about a lot is that, when we look at the actual firing, so when we release, that inhibition and we're kind of getting that, firing back of nerve system fires, it actually, we see it and we see more neuromuscular communication, their muscles are firing more efficiently, and we see that explosion piece. Like when we have that, there's not that irritation of nerve roots, when there's full neurological communication, we see it from an explosion perspective as well.
When you can remove that interference, right, and allow that signal to fire as fast as it can, well, it's going to improve your performance. It's going to make you quicker. It's going to make your, like you said, that signal gets sent just so much quicker when the nervous system is cleared up and firing like it's designed to.
Yeah, no, I love that. Another article or research thing they talked about was, just specifically looking at hip extension. Is when you have improved hip extension, that has the improved link of, when you can extend your hips more. You look at a skating stride, you look at a explosion of a sprinter, football, soccer, explosion
basketball,
of volleyball coming off the floor. when you can increase hip extension, amazing what that does to the human body.
Well, the one thing I always talked about with a lot of the athletes that I have seen is that you think about like the athletic stance, right? A lot of it's generally with some hip flexion, right? You think of kind of that athletic stance or that ready stance. Well, in order to get out of that stance, like you talked about, you have to have good hip extension, right? Those glutes have to fire, the hips have to be mobile enough to get you out of that stance and get you moving forward or laterally or backwards, whatever it may be. So it's a super important piece.
Yeah, huge piece of it. And when the biomechanics are off, you know, or there's one that's different than the other, it's going to massively limit performance. And in a future episode, we'll get to injuries and prevention and recovery and all that kind of thing. But today we want to focus just on the performance piece. And if you're imbalanced or you're more one side versus the other, that is going to massively limit your performance.
Absolutely. You know, you think about, like I talked about, going lateral movement, you know, left and right, which is just about every sport, you know. You know, I talk about football, basketball, hockey, soccer, those kind of things. Like, if one side is overcompensating, right, or not firing like it should, then yeah, you're going to have trouble. You know, there's a reason like some people can get beat going to their left, or get beat going to their right. You know, if they're not able to go to that way like they can, you know, either way, then yeah, it's going to make a huge difference in your performance.
Yeah, and one of the things that we haven't even touched on is the massive implications of this in sports like dance.
Oh, for sure.
Gymnastics,
for sure.
You know, some of those to where, man, hip extension, full spinal mobility is like, it makes a difference of scores. It makes a difference of like, you know, man, I can't even extend my hip to get into a kick or to, you know, to do a whatever they do.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like sometimes you know, even me, I'm guilty of it too. Like thinking of, you know, kind of just these certain sports, but absolutely dance, gymnastics, cheer.
Yes,
you know, any
cheer's
of those,
a big one.
It's super important to be able to have that hip extension and have that mobility. You know, just to, like you said, when it's coming down to someone else judging your score, yeah, that makes a huge difference whether or not you can do that or you can't do that.
Yeah. The last thing I want to touch on here is just, you know, we mentioned it, like all the professional teams having a chiropractor or the work with the force. Like, I want all of you to know that are watching, the care we're providing for them is exactly the same care you're getting in here. Yeah. It's no different. We're not there to tape ankles. No. We're not there to do those kind of things. We are there to maximize performance for these athletes. It's a nervous system adjustment for these athletes, the exact same that you're getting in Strive Chiropractic here. So if you have a teen athlete or you have something you're wondering, it's not that you have to, like, oh, we need to make sure we're doing what they do for the Force and the Wild and all the other teams. Nope, you'll get it here. It is exactly what we're doing for you.
Yep. The conversations that I have with the Force, I have those same exact conversations with, you know, male, female athletes, whether they're 14, 15, like it's the same conversations, you know, and so, you know, it's just as important for, you know, younger athletes as it is for older athletes.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're having those same conversations, whether it's, you know, someone that's been drafted in the NHL or someone that's a 9-year-old dancer. You know, it is the same conversation. It's the same adjustments, the same tune-up. So
or same conversations we have with our own kids.
Yes.
Those, you know, and our kids are athletes, and the conversations we're having with them, we're having with our patients
exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yep.
So know that you're getting that here. You're getting not only that expertise, but you're getting that same level of dedication and intent put into your athlete, no matter what the age is, that we're giving to those at the top of the top.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So if you're wondering, if you're like, man, it's described maybe my teen athlete, or if you're a teen athlete watching this, it's important to let's get checked out. We'll take you through the full, you know, biomechanical overview. We'll look at x-rays and scans if we need to. Yep. We'll do whatever we need to do to find, you know, where the lack is and what we need to do to improve it to help you see that you know, the best performance gains on the field.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's super important. Like, just come in, get checked out. Let us take a look at you, kind of find where those restrictions are so that we can improve those, you know, improve your mobility, improve your flexibility, and ultimately improve your performance.
Yeah. So, so that's what we got for you today, guys. If you're watching this, or if you know someone that's like, man, I got to send this to someone, share this, you know, whether you're watching it on YouTube, listening to it on Spotify, or wherever else you listen to podcasts, share this. It's a big thing that there's just, maybe you're experiencing the benefits here of that care and there's others that don't. Make sure you kind of do your part and be a hero and share it with them as well. So appreciate you guys tuning in this week, and we'll be back next week in another episode of The Strive Show. Thanks for tuning into The Strive Show. Whether you are watching this on YouTube or listening to the podcast on your favorite platform, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's episode, please share it with a loved one. We would be honored. Thanks, and have a fantastic week.
Welcome to episode 5.
Or like the subtitles in their different language.
Yeah.
And their mouth is going, but the words are whatever. Episode 5, 6, 7, whatever number this is. Oh, that's too good. All right.